If you are enjoying the Good Vibes Project podcast, please join me on Patreon. Patreon is a website which allows me to expand upon the tips, advice, and thoughts that I'm sharing, not just on the podcast, but on my website and on my other creative endeavors. It allows you to make a small contribution financially each month to help me promote the podcast, help me to promote my writing, and helps me pay for some of the small expenses such as websites and hosting and things of that nature. Support of my Patreon page starts as little as $3 per month, and you'll get some exclusive Patreon-only content specifically to the Good Vibes Project. You'll get one bonus podcast episode every single month of the Good Vibes Project. This could include behind-the-scenes audio, unheard portions of interviews, or even extra stories with guests. This content will never be released to the public. It's not available anywhere else. Visit patreon.com/Steve Bierfeld. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Good Vibes Project. I'm your host, Steve Bierfeld, admitting what few people will. There's a lot I don't understand. Engaging guests join me each week and provide vivid illustrations, explain confusing concepts, and reveal deeply personal experiences of their own. I've got Will Teran, who is a man of many talents, so to speak. Will is an immensely talented artist who I came across through the gym that I own. Right. Will works out here, and he's skilled across multiple disciplines, working in a wide range of mediums. And I know in his work he has made a lot of different experiences really come to life from what I've seen. I'll get into that in a little bit. In his work, Will makes raw personal speech the center of his attention. His focus is on developing an artistic language that can be both spontaneous and subconscious. He's worked on the nationally recognized Jack's Pumpkin Glow, an enchanting annual Halloween experience that features thousands of hand-carved jack-o'-lanterns. He received his BA in Fine Art from Adelphi University, and he's currently based in Poughkeepsie, New York. Will, welcome.
Hey, thank you very much.
Thank you for being with me.
Incredible introduction.
Oh, awesome. Well, you are an incredible guy.
Oh, I try.
That's true. I'd like to start kind of just getting your sense of how you got involved in so many different aspects of art. And we'll talk a little bit more about it, but not just from music to painting to drawing to everywhere in between.
Sure. I'm a big fan of the creative process. I can't really get away from it. I tend to call it, and I mean this in the most romantic sense, it's a curse. I was born with it, and it's just what's been bestowed upon me. It's the way that I think that makes me want to react according to that. I just kind of like intake information and regurgitate it with whatever kind of opinion or perspective that I have on it. But I have to constantly be moving, doing things, making things, building things, creating things. It's something I can't ever get away from.
I remember when I first heard kind of about the work you were doing, you were wearing a shirt that said The Glow, which is a pumpkin show every year. And it's we have one here in the Hudson Valley. It's similar, but yours is all over in different cities. And
Sure. We build here in Poughkeepsie, and the one I'm referring to now is Jack's Pumpkin Glow. We build here in Poughkeepsie, and then we set it out to different states, different venues. A couple years ago, I want to say 2 years ago now, it was Chicago, Philadelphia, Nashville, and Virginia.
How do you get involved with something like that? Because I've seen your work. I remember asking you, hey, you ever see this show, on the whatever Halloween Wars or something? Can you do that? And you're like, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah,
I was like, wait, you can do that? Like, yeah, I can do that.
No
like,
problem.
How do you get involved in something like that? How can I be good in something like that?
It started with the Craigslist post.
Doesn't everything good start with a Craigslist post?
And I want to say now it's about 8 or 9 years ago now for this other company called Rise of the Jack-O-Lanterns. And they were a Halloween attraction that mirrored the Great Jack-O-Lantern Blaze, the bigger one that exists in Croton. And same premise, over 5,000 or however many hand-carved jack-o'-lantern. But it started out with the Craigslist post. I came over, I had my portfolio, I showed what I did, I paint, I draw, I sculpt, I do whatever. But I was very adamant about it, considering I was born in October. I have this huge affinity for Halloween. It's one of my favorite, if not my most favorite, holiday. And I said I was born to do this job. And
they agreed.
It took me immediately, but they treated me like, you don't really know what you're talking about. I was like, okay, just let me do it. Just let me do it.
Was there like a live demonstration you had to do? Like, here's your job interview, carve this pumpkin in 5 minutes? Like...
Well, they showed me the tool. I've never really worked with a Dremel before. But it was similar to like a tattoo gun.
Okay, I was going to say, I have no idea what that is.
The handling of it.
Okay.
Just like it's a small rotary tool. Mm-hmm. And It's attached to a large battery. It's constantly rotating, buzzing, and you're just scraping down this material, this styrofoam plastic, pumpkin-shaped material. This is like fake plastic styrofoam pumpkins that are molded from real pumpkins, and that's what we utilize the most for our medium in these showcases. And, they sat me down and said, can you do this? And I mimicked whatever everybody else was already doing, and then later on I started making my own designs, creating my own things, and then I just became an unstoppable force after that.
Awesome fun. Is that your favorite medium to work with, the pumpkin, because it has a special place in your heart?
It can be. I don't think I have a favorite. I don't like to limit myself too often, and I'll get bored real easy, which is why I have to have a hand in, like, multiple facets.
Okay. Now, when coronavirus is, I guess, going on, still kind of going on,
Sure.
It's changed a little bit of your pumpkin carving, so to speak, for the shows. How has that affected your shows? You haven't been able to travel as much with it.
Haven't been able to do much, actually. Our company actually shut down as of this year because of coronavirus. It's actually in the business of public gathering, so that kind of played against...
Not the best business to be in
right now.
Just
exactly.
kind of equal with the gym, maybe.
Right. It's about getting people together in one place, and right now that's, like, super illegal. So it played against us, but... my carpenter, my coworker, the person that I've been working with for the last however many years it's been now since the beginning, we've actually traveled companies. We company hopped for a couple of years now together, and he took it upon himself to be a pioneer and said, you know what, I've got a bunch of leftover money from this thing. I'm going to start my own show. Do you want to help me build it? And I was like, yeah, well, of course I would love to help you build it. And built a smaller version of our typical showcase and sent it over to this farm that he's working with, Elms Farms in Ballston Spa. It's like the Albany area. And they did a little thing there this year, and it was beautiful. The crowd loved it. The carving was super dope because I wasn't limited by the company's suggestions of you can only make this and do it like this.
Did you find that your abilities to work with your friend at a more independent level gave you that much more creative freedom?
Absolutely. Just for the type of person that he is, and technically it was his show. He purchased my time to make his stuff. So he was like, we've been working together for so long, he already trusts me in all of my creative judgments and opinions. So he's just like, make whatever the hell you want. I was like, okay, you got it.
When is that moment? When you grow up, is it always like, I want to be an artist? Like if you asked me to draw a stick figure right now, I'd probably get arrested. Like, that's how bad my art is. Uh-huh. Is it something that's just stuck with you as you're raised, as you grew up, that you want to be involved in this?
It's more of a psychological rebellion against everything. The lack of, there's an awareness to it, but the lack of wanting to admit that there are limitations or that's something that should be allowed lives with me. I have to keep breaking the mold. I have to keep exploring new options. I have to keep experimenting. And that can apply to anything, any that's vital information for anybody. Never stop trying. Always get out of your comfort zone. Always try new things. Never be happy when, being comfortable. So it's more than just, this affinity for drawing, painting, sculpting. It's more of an affinity of, hey, I can do that, and I'm going to rock at that. Let me try it out. And now what else? How can I push this even further from there?
Is there been a medium that you've tried and you're like, it's not my skill set?
Yeah, fucking henna. I can't do it. I cannot do henna to save my life. And it bugs me because you would think it's so easy. It's just line drawing on somebody, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Whether the steadiness of the hand or the fluidity of that mixture in that little bag. And I don't know. I fuck it up every time. It really bugs me.
I have a question. Now, a question I had that jumped out, something you said reminded me. As I had asked you for a bio, and something you mentioned, you said, describing yourself, he paints to explore the process of painting.
Yes.
And that really stuck with me. I wanted to make sure I brought it up. He paints to explore the process of painting.
Correct.
What did you mean by that?
Well, whenever I start painting, I don't necessarily have the final product in my head. I don't have a vision of it. I kind of just loosely, organically, like a free writing experience, I kind of just go for it. And then you find something in that mode, in that process, in that thinking, trying things on, fucking up, erasing, doing over, painting over. I'm very much involved in the process. I love that experience in between, getting from point A to point B, not necessarily arriving at B, because then the magic stops. Mm-hmm. I'm here, I'm done. What does that even feel like? Are you satisfied? Was it a success? Anytime I surprise myself, I consider that a success. But that's very much a part of getting there. How am I going to do that this time? Do I want it to be the exact same again and again and again? It'll get boring. It'll get tedious, redundant.
It's constantly a challenging thing?
I'd like it to be.
Yeah.
I prefer it that way.
And when it gets boring, it's like, I need a new challenge. Like, I got to bring back this henna. I got to try some more henna.
I will fucking rock henna one day, I swear. But yeah, I'm very much about trying on different things and learning that skill set and how can I evolve from there.
Besides only art, and that's kind of how I've known you from seeing your work, you're an accomplished musician as well.
Sure, I would.
You've done some music stuff. You're more accomplished than me, again, with the stick figures. But
well, I've always been around a lot of music-heavy people. As a younger person, I would make it a point to constantly be around a lot of other creative, enthusiastic, vibrant, talented, brilliant people. So you pick up little things here and there, what you like. I've always had an affinity for music. I love rock and roll. I love all forms of sound. And being around a lot of musicians growing up, I just had to try it on myself one day. And it started to work, and I love it. And that's a whole different experience, playing live music. It's a whole different feeling. It's getting off in a whole different way, separate from making visual art or creating something or building something. That feeling of performance and the chemistry, the dynamic that you have with working in collaboration next to somebody else producing these sounds, because there's no language other than music involved. You don't have to speak English to work with another musician. You just listen to them, they listen to you, and then whatever vibes.
this was a quick taste of our conversation, but we've got more to come. If you want to hear more about this topic and about my conversation with our guest here, tune in next week. We'll have a part 2 as well, and we will chat some more, and you can hear more about what they have to say.